shading. No good, very bad, awful, generally the worst, terrible, not fun, the bane of every artist's existence. At least in my opinion.
And where does shade come from? Light. Light shines and then stuff gets in the way and blocks the light, which is a jerk move on their part because that makes artists like you and me have to take that light blockage into account. Hopefully, this video will teach you some new tricks to up your shading game. Obviously, this isn't the only way to shade, it's just how I do it. Take what you like, and then alter the parts that you don't. I struggle to get my shading colors dark enough. I just generally struggle with the contrast. And because of this, I don't blend out my shading. At least most of the time. It leads to my already soft shading looking even softer. Instead, I use blocks of color to indicate shading. And the sharp lines between each color gives the illusion of a more contrasted shade. Now that I've picked the shading style that best fits my strengths and weaknesses, we have to decide where to place the shade. Depending on how much effort I feel like putting into my drawing, I'll either use 2 or 3 different colors. I have the pure base color, then 3 colors that progressively get darker. I try my darndest to avoid shading with black, so usually I'll add a touch of some other color, a red, maybe a purple or a green, to the original color, and then darken it. Once you have those colors, you lay them down wherever the light is being blocked. Pen here will be our model. See how the sun is shining above her? See how the parts of her face that stick out more have more shading? Her chin, her nose, her curled bangs that block her forehead. And when our sun moves, the shape of the shade changes. When it comes to shading, light is a straight line, and wherever something blocks it, that's where the shade should be. No matter what the object is, if it protrudes, there's a block of light. And the larger the protrusion, the darker the shadow. I realize that it's hard to explain the placement of shading because everything you draw is different, so the most valuable parts of this video are color and angle. Don't use black if you can avoid it. Add interesting colors to the original tone and darken it. Make sure that the shading is placed opposite of where the light source is. If you keep those 2 things in mind, you'll be golden. If you have any tips that make shading easier for you, feel free to share them in the comments because I'm by no means the best at shading, and I'm always interested in finding ways to make it easier. Hopefully this gives you some insight to help you develop your shading style. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.